Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the iHeartRadio network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America and, of course, across the pond in London, England, as well as Paris, France. Of course, Canada, there's been a little bit of a mixed reaction when I'm doing the national anthem. I got some hate mail. People thought they were listening to Drake, but it wasn't Drake doing the national anthem. That was Big C. So we'll hold off today just in case we check these hanging chats. But there's still no one I love more than you good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave, Big C. How's it going for you good old boys, Big C? Oh, okay.
And the mosquitoes. So I figured I'd hang out here in the yard and watch the neighbors go by for a change. Maybe waving somebody instead of flipping them off.
Oh, well, that's something else, Big C. You could even toss them some moonshine on a great day like today. And speaking of today is May the 10th, 2017. And I just appreciate so much that's going on in the world of sports. We've been talking about some things that happened with a federal judge, all with the FBI, leading with the FBI director being let go. Also, some good old boys. I'm telling you that one of the best basketball games I've seen, not just this season, Big C, but in a long time, is the good old boys down in Texas with Houston and San Antonio balling it out. Have some good things happening in the NHL. And Big C, I just want to get your thought on that game that we saw last night. That game with Manu Ginobili, I think he's 39 years old. And as a 39-year-old NBA basketball player, he left a bigger mark in the game than a lot of guys 10 years younger than him, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, I think he had to have some Geritol.
Can you mix those two? Yeah, he played a little bit stiff in that game, but he got the block shot on Harden at the end of that, Big C. I mean, that was just an amazing play from Ginobili, Big C. Your thoughts?
What do you think about it, Jonathan? He turned the clock back last night about 10 years.
Yeah.
It was a phenomenal play from Manu Ginobili. This is a Greg Popovich effect, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Is that when you count him out, that this is a guy who's savvy.
Yeah.
I mean, his players understand him, and he understands his players. There's always critical time. Any great athlete would tell you.
Yeah.
And Myles Garrett, who just came out of Texas A&M, the number one overall draft pick in the NFL will tell you, you pick your players even though he only did 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
In the NBA, because it's such a traumatic game as far as, intensity and physical abuse on the body running up and down that court, Charlton, you have to pick your moments.
Yeah.
And so when you think about San Antonio picking his moments and being up 3-2, Pop let Houston go out in that first game. It's almost like that adage, what Ali used to do.
Yeah.
Let me see what you got for the first couple of rounds, okay?
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna kick your butt. and that's what you see with San Antonio in the past few games, Johnson. Houston came out and gave all they had. San Antonio was tired from the first series that they had played in.
Yeah.
So they may not have been giving their all. And even though they've lost Tony Parker, they sit back as Popovich with his great basketball mind because he's a strategist.
Oh, yeah.
He sit back and ran a couple game analysis on Houston, okay?
Yeah.
He's played D'Antoni many times over the decade, Jonathan, so he knows what Mike D'Antoni's strategy is.
Yeah.
And so what they've done is got James Harden to be the James Harden of old, okay? Is that he's playing matador defense. And you think about the fourth quarter last night, Jonathan. 4 points by a guy you're talking about being the league's MVP.
Yeah.
4 points in a critical game, 5 of a Western semifinal game.
Yeah.
That's not what you expect from a guy, at that level. You expect for him to rise up. But San Antonio did such a great job. Kawhi Leonard, Patty Mills, and the rest of that offense. And Ginobili, you think about that play, the savviness of that, Jonathan.
Yeah.
To creep back around Harden and pull that ball from behind. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Just as he was raising for that shot, they had the perfect timing. And that's basketball knowledge, Jonathan,
Yeah.
101.
Yeah.
That wasn't luck. That wasn't a guess. That's basketball knowledge because this is what film study does with professional athletes.
Yeah.
Everybody raves about this kid Ball out at UCLA.
Lonzo Ball, yeah.
A few other college kids
Yeah.
that are coming out, but they don't have that mental savvy to make a play like that of a Manu Ginobili. They may have athleticism,
Yeah.
but they understand and have knowledge of the game through all these great years of coaching by Popovich.
Yeah.
You know, it goes unwarranted, Jonathan, because this is a great organization led by a great teacher, Jonathan.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, Big C, when you think about that, great point to bring up. This segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them that Charlton and Big C sent you. Big C, based on that Cadillac, just a little bit of news I want to bring up just to get your opinion. You know how sometimes they'll say the Nielsen ratings showed something, and if you don't have a Nielsen box in your home, then you're not part of that Nielsen ratings. Well, there was a study shown by a national newspaper, and it said that men love to drive. This is for you too, ladies. Men love to drive clean cars. And it said about 60% of the men love clean cars, and only about 30% of women like clean cars. But your car's like dirty like 90% of the time. Are you saying that your car's owned by a woman and she just let you drive it? Big C, is that what you're trying to say? Yeah. Yeah, sunblock. Yeah, that's true.
That's what my baby is wearing.
Yeah.
That's what all that mud creates. It creates the picture for the thing.
Yeah.
So we don't worry about it wearing out over time.
That's funny. And when I thought about that study, I remember that Always Dreaming won the Kentucky Derby, and we actually predicted that. I guarantee you, we're probably the only sports company that out there that predicted it, and they can go back and look at the show before that Friday before that Kentucky Derby, and we talked about him and Jay Cutler being the guys that can sleep and still get jobs, Big C, but we said that he win, and he won it, and he was also muddy. Big C, your thoughts? Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he's talked to Fox about giving him a job as an analyst, so he must have some knowledge in getting people to believe what he says. He couldn't get his team.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the past couple years in Chicago, no one believed what he said, and they weren't winners.
Well, who? Go ahead, Z. Go ahead, Z.
No, but you know, it's going to be quite interesting when you see him on the airways.
Yeah.
When he's saying to people and how he's breaking down broadcasts, will he be able to stay awake? First of all.
That's funny. He reminds me of an athlete by the name of Sleepy Floyd. And they said Sleepy Floyd, he always looked sleepy. It's just the way his eyes were. That's something to do with genetics, Big C. But they could be, maybe he's related to Sleepy Cutler, Big C. Your thoughts? Yeah.
You always expect the quarterback to have fire. You know, you think about over the years how,
Yeah.
you know, Brett Favre and Dan Marino was so intense, John Elway, you know, when they were on the field. Rick Gannon, you know, when he was quarterback in the Raiders,
Yeah.
how much field leadership he had out there on the field. And we've seen that with Drew Brees and Tom Brady.
Yeah.
The tenacity that they had when they're out there directing their offense and their players. And you know, this strikes me odd.
Yeah.
Because all these so-called experts talk about a guy who has to be cerebral.
Yeah.
You know, Jay Cutler ranks with Jeff George as far as what they say, dumb John.
Yeah.
You know, they're right there 1 and 2 in that category.
Well, we know yeah, and we're the only sports program that, you know, we just want to point out the facts. People can look at it all they want to, and, you know, just want to throw back to the game last night, which I thought was arguably the best game. I mean, this went back to the NBA Finals Game 7 last year, Golden State and Cleveland, when Houston had every right to win that game on the road, a game they definitely, in my opinion, had to win, because I thought the winner of last night's game would win the series. But I'm going to ask you a thought on Harden, and Charles Barkley brought it up too. Not that he was one to pass the ball a lot, but Harden will hold the ball inside of 5 seconds. And so that means all of your other players are standing around on the perimeter, knowing they're not going to get the ball passed to them. And when they do, it's down with about maybe 2 seconds left, and they really don't have time to set and get off a good shot. And why won't D'Antoni tell them, we need you to move that ball around and don't just hold it for 20 seconds on a shot clock? Big C, your thoughts? Yeah.
The guy who did not know how to pass the ball and played matador defense.
Yeah.
You know, the first game of the series, you know, he looked like James Harden, potential MVP.
Yeah.
But now
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, I'm not really concerned about anybody else. This is how good I look out here.
Are you saying he's looking for a network job, Big C? Is that how you audition? Is pretend you're asleep and they'll give you a job, Big C?
Maybe he's trying to get back here.
No.
It's not too far away.
Julio Jones had that wrapped up, but I guess I also want to know, I don't know what's going on with Kawhi Leonard. I know he turned an ankle, and there was some talk that maybe they should have tried to give him some of that hurt no more, or whatever that's called, they spray on him, and put him back in the game, but he's too valuable a player. I just hope nothing's broken and that he'll be back in this series, even if they have to tape him up severely and put some hurt no more on that spray you good old boys use, Big C. I think he's going to be a difference just by being on the floor, but obviously when they lost him, they don't have Parker, and they're at home and they're down. I think they were trailing by 3 or 4 points with about a minute and a half to go, and they found a way to win without their best player. That has to send even a little bit of a warning to Golden State if they should meet. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, I don't know if it says a warning to Golden State, Jonathan, because they don't have enough horses to run in that derby, okay?
Yeah.
They may play Houston and play Houston tough.
Yeah.
But you got to have some horses to play against Golden State.
Yeah.
And not 1 or 2, you got to have 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And because they will run you into the ground, Jonathan, and you think about San Antonio.
Yeah.
They only played 7 players last night. You're not going to beat Golden State playing 7 players
Yeah.
in a conference final, Jonathan.
Yeah.
It's too deep because Golden State will go 9 to 10 deep on you if they have to.
Yeah.
So somebody's going to get tired, and that's what Golden State operates on, is the war of attrition.
Yeah.
And so when you look at this game with Harden, and Houston has had some players hurt also.
Yeah.
So they've been playing a few players out of position. When they lost Nene,
Yeah.
that really put a damper on Houston's chances overall of winning the series. It really drew it even. Houston was the favorite when they had Nene, but when they lost Nene,
Yeah.
all of a sudden the series became even. And San Antonio last night going up 3-2. It's the best out of 3 right now, Charlton, with San Antonio having the favorite.
Yeah. So.
Right now, Houston is in panic mode.
Yeah.
They cannot take any unnecessary chances in this next game because San Antonio, all they have to do is just go out and shoot.
Yeah.
That's all they're going to do is just try to shoot the lights out and bomb a lot of threes on Houston to try to get some separation.
And that's a great thing, too, about Manu Ginobili. And when it comes to men's health, and I just thought about a lot of people trying to get in shape for the springtime, Big C, and running around and taking certain diet pills or supplements. Well, there's no substitute for eating right and exercising, but I want to ask you about just the mindset that Ginobili has. This is not the guy that people said he needs to be on the team this year. I think there were some people, even last year, saying that perhaps he should retire from the league for whatever reason. Why retire if you can still play? And I think he gives a little bit of hope to all the older guys. I think even on TNT they do a program where they bring in former athletes for their Monday program, and I really enjoy it. It's like guys sitting around the barbershop talking, and they're having a lot of fun. And I think they forgot to invite Dikembe Mutombo, and he said, "You can't have a party without Dikembe Mutombo here." I don't know if his voice when it sounds that way or just he had too much moonshine before he got on TV, Big C. But your thoughts on what does that say when someone's asking the older guys who have so much experience, whether you're talking about a Vince Carter, I think he's about 39 years old, Ginobili, these guys still have a lot to offer. I don't think, even the truth, the truth is not even as old as Ginobili, I don't believe, but he's talking about having his last game already with the Clippers, Big C. Your thoughts?
He did retire. That was his last game, Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
But you think about Paul hasn't been productive in his career in the latter part like Ginobili.
Yeah.
Ginobili's been instrumental in San Antonio's success.
Yeah.
You think about it, it was just a couple short years ago that they were playing the Heat in the NBA Finals. He was a bit of a part
Yeah.
of the team at that time, Charles. So his ability to be effective has not waned.
Yeah.
And we saw that last night. He hit the fountain of youth and maybe a couple shots.
Yeah. Hey, I take umbrage with something I saw on, it was TNT actually, watching some of the games last night. Have you noticed they're talking about, it's not moonshine, but it's Jack Daniels. They can't say moonshine because we already got that covered, Big C, but they're bringing moonshine's cousin, which is Jack. And people don't know that Moonshine had a cousin named Jack Daniels. And they're always advertising Jack Daniels as opposed to some other Coors or some other beverage. Have you seen how similar that is, Big C, when they bring on their sponsor, Big C? Your thoughts?
People are trailing,
Yeah. 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 And see, yeah. I'm telling you, I thought about it so much. I said, it reminded me when the good old boys up in Canada went to a concert. They thought Drake was going to show up and sing something about fake love, like they understand that in California, the fake love. But and then Big C did the national anthem. A lot of people booed. I thought that was Donald Trump on stage. So many Canadians booed at Big C. But the cousin of Moonshine is actually the Jack Daniels of all them good old boys. So a lot of guys understand that you want a real drink. That's what they're doing, Big C. I want to get your thoughts also. When we look at some things I just want to cover with this game with the Wizards and the Celtics. Obviously, John Wall has shown the whole world that watches NBA basketball that he's the truth on the East Coast, okay? This guy can bring it, and he's big and he's physical out of Kentucky. And I look at least on the road, if you look at Thomas, he's really good. Thomas is good on the road, at home. But Isaiah can't hold up to Wall if it's going to go down a 7-man series. And especially your thoughts, and I know you like the way they play physical, but if it's a physical series, I don't think Boston can handle Washington, Big C, even though they're number 2 seed. Your thoughts?
When Washington went home, Johnson, they went to physicality.
Yeah.
Boston plays with a lot of finesse and speed. Boston, got up to Washington and realized we're at home. We're going to do what we want to do. We see some intimidation.
Yeah.
It's also on the court with these two teams as they played. We've seen Washington willing to take the technical foul.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's intimidation on your opponent to let them know that you would go outside the lines and do what it took to win. And that's sort of what Washington has done to Boston, is that they're taking this game physical.
Yeah.
They want to wear down Isaiah Thomas physically. And if they can wear him down, so goes the Celtics, because he's a leader.
Yeah.
He can go out and get you 53 points in one game, Johnson, but he can't get it for you in every game.
Yeah.
You saw what it allowed, but so they've closed down the lane a little more. They want to force him into being more of a jump shooter, even though he has a quality outside shot.
Yeah.
It's the penetration game. When you have a guard that runs that penetration game, that's what really hurts you.
Yeah.
And so they've learned that if they shut down on his penetration, he's going to be a little less effective and have to work hard to get that shot off outside, Johnson.
Well, Big C, back in the days, we talked about Boston Garden, and they had Johnny Most, that great raspy voice, and now the Larry Bird steals the ball. Larry Bird scores, and Celtics take the lead. I don't know if he's sipping helium, or maybe he knew where the real moonshine was. That's what them good old boys were doing before Boston Garden. They said it was always sweaty in Boston Garden, and they didn't have the AC on. I just think they were all liquored up on moonshine, Big C. But when I think about Boston and how, just for the history of it, we talked about having East Coast, West Coast. We know no one's going to get past the Cleveland Cavaliers, at least in the Eastern Conference, because the NBA makes too much noise marketing LeBron James, Big C. But I do miss the days of when I would watch the Lakers and play the Celtics. And there's something about that Boston Garden. TD Garden is not the same. It's just not the same at all. But to have the guys like Larry Bird, when they had the good old boys McHale, and they had Parrish, and they had Dennis Johnson and Danny Ainge, they were kind of a dirty playing team. I know people thought Larry Bird was just a three-point shooter, Big C, or an outside shooter, but he could drive the basket. But he also talked a lot of crap. Now, I'm not trying to say this good old boy at Boston, the one that Draymond Green is saying is a dirty player. He actually was holding on to Kevin Love's arm when he snapped it last year, and then he elbowed the player for Washington, and he was retaliated against, okay? That's a dirty play, but I want to get your thoughts. Does he remind you of all the way Kevin McHale and them good old boys played back in the day, Big C, or is he just kind of a thuggish play? Your thoughts?
Well, it's the history of the Celtics, Jonathan, that we've seen over time.
Yeah.
McHale's at times that way, but he reminds me more of a Bill Laimbeer.
Oh, yeah.
Detroit Pistons bad boy.
Yeah.
But, the plays that he has made, the NBA is well aware that they've been outside the bounds, and they've allowed it.
Yeah,
And
they've allowed it.
because they want Boston to be relevant.
Yeah.
In the playoffs.
Yeah.
You think about it. effective.
Yeah.
When certain teams are in and being effective, is that the sport is generally better. You know, we talked about that in football with the Cowboys and the Raiders and the Chiefs. How relevant the NFL was this past year going into the playoffs. Having those old teams that everybody had grown used to.
Yeah.
Now you got the Boston Celtics winning the Eastern Conference, you know, for the first time in over a decade. And being relevant, Charlton, and taking the Cavaliers to task.
Yeah.
And so people wanted to see them versus the Cavaliers in the playoffs in the Eastern Finals. I don't know if that's going to take place, even though the home teams have won all 4 games in this series.
Yeah.
And it goes back to Boston tonight.
Yeah.
But, you know, the Celtics have a little bit of that moxie. Now, you got Danny Ainge, who was around when the organization was known for being a semi-bad boy organization.
Yeah.
So he's going to bring in players that remind him of his playing days, Charlton.
Yeah.
When the Celtics had that image. And every NBA team, Charlton, has a tough guy. Now, Draymond Green has made comments on his kid being a dirty player. Now, Draymond don't have the ground to speak on anybody being dirty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Draymond has to be quiet when it comes, you know, he's not the spokesperson.
Yeah.
He's the poster boy for good kids in the NBA.
Well, let me ask you this. I know Draymond drives a clean Escalade, but he does play a little bit more physical. Them good old boys call it dirty play. But I want to say that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. If you're going to play sports, you need insurance. You need athletic and event insurance. Get it through Big C Sports, through Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. You only get it through Ben and Mark Sports, and also the Big C Sports Show on the iHeartRadio network. Big C, I want to bring this thing up to you because I'm looking at some angles that happen in Las Vegas, and I know a lot of guys, just being down there not too long ago over the weekend watching the fight, Big C, there are people who are saying that we have to have more competitive games. And then I just noticed how Isaiah Thomas is allowed to get beaten up on the floor, Big C. I mean, that's going to try, in some good old boys' opinion, to get some of this animosity going. And I know people say they don't want to see arguments, they don't want to see fighting. But when you allow players to play that physical, and you just brought up Bill Laimbeer, I don't think Bill Laimbeer was ever suspended from a playoff game the way Draymond Green was, from even LeBron James landing on top of his foot, you know, on an uncomfortable spot. But I just think they're trying to allow the game to be more physical while they're telling you they want to clean it up. Does that make any sense, Big C, or do the good old boys in Las Vegas know something that we don't know?
Charlton, how do you clean up physicality? Everybody's known that basketball's always been a contact physical sport. Okay?
Yeah.
But there's nothing kind about the game of basketball.
Yeah.
We know that football is a violent game.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the difference in the two. Football's violent, basketball's contact.
Yeah.
And when you think about the ticky-tack fouls that are called in the NBA, the egregious fouls are not called.
No.
You know, for whatever reason, you know, we see players sloppy and players getting waved at, and all of a sudden there's a three-point shot behind that because the official said that he, you know, detracted the player from, you know, his natural move.
Yeah.
But basketball is a game that's systematically orchestrated.
Yeah.
I don't care how you look at it. It is an orchestrated event. You know, and the conductors are the officials.
Yeah.
They dictate the flow of the game too often.
Yeah, they do.
You know, think about when you were growing up, and guys would call foul all the time whenever they missed a shot.
That would be James Harden. You talk about James Harden, Big C?
You know, you used to play on the asphalt, the playground, and every kid who listens to this program who ever played out on the asphalt know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There was always somebody that every time he touched the ball and missed a shot, he was calling foul.
Yeah.
Or if he stripped the ball from him, he was calling foul.
Yeah.
And that's what the NBA officials remind me of half the time. Let the game be played.
Yeah.
You know, there's some stretches in the game, Charlton. You'll see 3 bodies on the floor and no foul call. And you say, okay, who's watching?
Yeah.
But then you see somebody driving to the basket, and somebody gets close, no body contact.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you got a 3-point shot.
Yeah, that's true. And so obviously, they got to find a way to keep these games close. Like just watching the Golden State close out Utah, I think they won by 26 points. And of course, the only people interested at that time are the people in Vegas. Of course, they covered the spread. But those are things that you just want to keep an eye on, that you follow through Big C Sports. I want to just touch a little bit, Big C, on the world of baseball. And, you know, we have the NHL going down, so some exciting hockey coming up. but the Cubs that won the Big C World Series last year over the Cleveland Indians, we're talking about playing 500 baseball right now. Do you think they're having what you would call, say, the World Series hangover, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, you have to look at it from that prospect. You go 108 years and you have won anything.
Yeah.
I still think there's a couple party candles still burning.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't fault teams, Charlton, for, reminiscing on winning a championship.
Yeah.
How often does it come around? And we talk about the Cubs 108 years.
Yeah.
So nobody in that organization was used to winning, Charlton,
Yeah.
other than Joe Madden.
Yeah.
Who was in the World Series as a manager, but in POS team as a general manager. I mean, as the GM.
Yeah, the GM. Yeah.
But no player. So you're going to revel. I mean, it's very difficult in any sport to repeat.
Yeah.
As a champion. And you got to have a strong veteran team to be able to do that. But when you get a lot of young players like the Cubs have.
Yeah.
Now, the Cubs are a team that's built for 5 to 10 year run, okay?
Yeah.
So if they have an off year this year, it's nothing to frown at. Did anybody repeat in the Super Bowl from 2 years ago? I'm kind of lost.
Good point on that. Good point on that.
Only teams that repeated was the NBA championship.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball didn't repeat.
Yeah.
NHL hockey didn't repeat, okay?
Yeah.
But the NBA was orchestrated.
Yeah.
So when we look at the 4 major leagues, Charlton, in American sports, only the NBA repeated.
Yeah.
So we had 3 other major leagues that did not repeat. So this thing that's going on with the Cubs, I mean, they're 500. Okay,
Yeah.
we're in May.
Yeah.
We're basically in the first week of May.
Yeah.
Second week of May. So there's nothing to panic about. Now, if they were 500 and you're in the middle of August,
Yeah.
it'd be something to be concerned about. But Joe Madden is savvy enough, and I think that he'll reel all these players in, Charlton.
Yeah.
Because nobody's running away with the division. So they have a chance to recoup. And if the Cubs win 90 games this year, Charlton, they'll win the division. They don't have to win 108 games again.
That's a very good point. Nothing worth winning is going to come easy, and so obviously this is just a part where they're going to have to right the ship. And I also want to bring up just another point about the world of sports. And I heard some good old boys talking on the radio, and they were talking about which quarterback was drafted in this last NFL draft. That's actually going to be a game one or a day one player starter. And ironically, because out here in California, they keep talking about, the old girlfriend, you can't get her off your mind. I can't get you off of my mind. I don't know who sang that, but yeah. 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 They can't say I'm plagiarizing, Big C. But some of these good old boys, they had someone saying how they were going through the guys that were just drafted, that kid out of North Carolina, and they were saying how he might be a starter after about week 3 or 4 when he couldn't even win that many games at North Carolina. And it came around to Watson, even though he's been in the last 2 national championship games. The good old boy said, those talking heads said, well, he needs to work on his mechanics, as if they didn't get the memo from Urban Meyer and also Nick Saban that his mechanics are fine. He tossed them for almost 1,000 yards, Big C. But I want to bring this point up. The radio guy asked the other guy, so what are your thoughts on Carson Wentz and golf from last year? Because he was pushing them, and he kind of stumped the guy, and he said, well, those 2 didn't turn out the way I thought they would turn out, Big C. Well, doesn't that mean he didn't know what you're talking about, Big C? Your thoughts? Yeah. Oh, not everybody. They didn't stop everybody. We were all over them, Big C.
Well, I'm talking about the experts.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's right.
We're just guys.
Yeah.
Every program, every day, every week about what's going on in the world of politics and the world of sports.
Yeah.
But those experts out there that said that they were franchise quarterbacks and, they were can't miss prospects. Well, Carson Wentz, Charlton.
Yeah.
The second most passes in the history of a rookie quarterback. Okay?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he produced 5 wins. He threw more than 100 balls more than Zach Prescott. Actually, 127 balls more than Zach Prescott.
Yeah.
And Zach only had 8 more wins. So that lets you know that he was always coming from behind. And so, that's the labor of a lot of young quarterbacks. But when we look at Trubisky,
Yeah.
it doesn't make any difference, Charlton, whether he starts week 1, week 5, week 10.
Yeah.
He's going to be what he is. He's a prospect.
Yeah.
He's a guy that looked good on paper. He looked good at the combine. But college.
Yeah.
And for 3 years, he was beat out by other quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He backed up quarterbacks for 3 years in college because he kept getting beat out.
Yeah.
The only reason he became a starter because they ran out of other guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So
you.
you think about that. You know, you run out of other guys, so you make the guy a starter. But he only wins you 8 games.
Yeah.
And think about this even more so, Charlton. His last 4 games as a college quarterback.
Yeah.
He was 1-4. And
Wow.
the one game he won was against the Citadel. Now, everybody, look up the Citadel. See how strong that program is. See what bowl game they ran.
Yeah.
They came out of Division 1 AA.
Yeah.
And became a 118. So when you talk about his resume,
Yeah.
what he's accomplished, it's just like Jared Goff. If you want to know what Mitch Trubisky is going to look like as a pro quarterback, all you have to do is turn on a Jacksonville Jaguar game, Charlton, okay?
Yeah.
You turn that game on. They got a guy named Blake Bortles.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And all you got to do is change the uniforms. They look like twins.
You know.
That's what they look like. They look like twins mechanically. They look like twins athletically. They're going to be like twins win-wise in the NFL.
You know what's interesting about that too for anybody? We always talk about Google. I haven't seen these analytics people lately because you started saying, well, wait a minute, these analytics don't add up to what these prognosticators are saying about how great somebody is. And we've been saying, do an analytics. Where's the analytics study on how right or wrong these guys were that were telling you who to draft? I just want to bring this to your attention. You look at Trubisky from this year out of North Carolina. You look at Goff from last year out of Cal. If you look at what Goff did in 3 years, he won 14 games. If you look at Trubisky in 1 year, I think he won, what was it, 8 games?
8 games.
Okay, so my math might be the best in the world, Big C, but if I go 14 plus 8, it looks like it comes up 22. Now, if I take 22 and divide it by 4 years, that's 5. So the guys that went number 1 in the NFL draft, they only won 5 games on average, Big C, for those seasons. Does that make any sense? You win 5 games and the NFL says this guy must be the top draft pick, Big C. Your thoughts? Yeah.
Okay. And I never looked at your analytics before I was that smart. But it takes 5 games average wins in a year.
Yeah.
Between the top 2 quarterbacks taken over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And you said that translates into a successful professional career.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll take that in comparison. The guy that Trubisky's replacing in Chicago, what's his name?
Oh, that sleepy guy, always sleep, is always dreaming? That guy that won the Kentucky Derby? Oh, Jake, okay.
And you look at Jay Cutler's career in college at Vanderbilt University.
Yeah.
It's a mirror image of what Trubisky's was.
Yeah.
Okay, and now we see how successful Jay Cutler was in the NFL. He had this I don't give a damn mentality.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. They paid him.
Yeah.
Until they got tired of taking paychecks, and so they finally cut him.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is what I see in Mitch Trubisky, and I'm not talking about the young
Oh, we wish him well. It's just funny.
Okay?
Yeah.
I want everybody to understand. I respect him as a person and an athlete.
Yeah.
But the people that made this decision, all you have to do is go to Chicago and ask the fans of Chicago.
Yeah.
They'll tell you management sucks right now.
Yeah.
To make this decision. Because the organization needed more than that. You think about it. You go out and you sign 2 quarterbacks as an organization.
Yeah.
You give these 2 quarterbacks some $65-70 million, okay?
How much?
$65-70 million between Glennon and the other kid they signed.
Wow.
And then you're going to go out and you're going to draft Trubisky. That's another $25 million. So now you got $100 million in Chicago tied up in 3 quarterbacks.
Wow.
$100 million tied up in 3 quarterbacks. That will not get you more than 4 to 5 wins on the season. The same thing you had last year.
Yeah.
That's all you're going to get. You lost your top receivers, okay?
Yeah.
You lose Alshon Jeffries. Who are you going to throw the ball to? You don't have anybody. You don't have an offensive line.
Yeah.
So this guy's going to get the crap beat out of him. So Chicago could miss the 3 wins this year.
Yeah.
Call that a successful year. If they win 5, Dalton,
Yeah.
in their mind, they're Super Bowl contenders.
Well, maybe they will be like the 85 Bears, Big C. And I want to just, as we come to a close on the program today, you know, I love the sports world where there's the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, boxing, MMA, UFC, hockey, all that stuff, college football and basketball. There's so many great things going on in the world of sports. But I just want to get your thoughts on someone that I've admired from afar over the years in the world of broadcast. You know, I want to just take this time to say our thoughts go out to Chris Berman's family I believe he lost his wife in a car accident. And I know everybody's going to go through something in life, but I just want to say from Big C Sports that our thoughts and our prayers are with his family. And I just want us to reflect on what Chris Berman going through this tough time, just to let him know what he's meant to the world of broadcast and everybody who's wanted to get into this business. Big C, your thoughts?
You can rightfully call Chris Berman to be the godfather of broadcasting.
Yeah.
What this man has created over his career, Charlton, and like you said, the noses go out to him and his family, his two children, for the loss of his wife. His wife was an educator as a career professional, Charlton. She was a school teacher.
Yeah.
And so she lent just as much as Chris did to society.
Oh, yeah.
As far as what she gave to helping youth become better people in America.
Yeah.
Chris Berman was one of the original members of ESPN when he came on the air, Charlton, back in 1983.
Yeah.
He was actually a sideline reporter, and many people may remember him from the catch in
Oh, yeah.
San Francisco.
Candlestick Park. Yeah.
Made that catch. He was the sideline reporter for ESPN. That's how much Chris Berman graduated, to become the spokesperson for ESPN. He was the guy, when ESPN had something big, Chris Berman was there over the past 2 decades.
Yeah.
He was the man who America lent their ear to every Sunday morning, Charlton, during the NFL season.
Yeah.
To be educated about the game of football. He had so many acronyms about the sport that Chris created.
Yeah.
That were his signatures. But, even more so, Charlton, he was the quality of a man.
Yeah.
He was the epitome of a broadcaster. He brought insight to the sport and integrity.
Yeah.
And that's what it's lacking now with all these young talking heads, is that they haven't earned their stripes. They've been thrust into position.
Yeah.
Chris Berman was a trailblazer. You think about it, he came along when people like Howard Purcell was leaving the game.
Yeah.
Joe Buck was leaving. And, John Buck.
Yeah.
That he came out, Dick Enberg, that he came out and he created this new following, this cult following
Yeah.
for the NFL.
Yeah.
And he was as much of the NFL as anything, Charlton. And, the dramatic loss that he lost his wife, just as he retired, Charlton, when they were going to start having fun, when they were going to start enjoying each other, neither one of them had the grind of going to work every day. He didn't have to go to ESPN. She didn't have to go to school. But, such a tragic event that, people never want to see come along in anybody's life. But Chris Berman has been a true American jewel. He's on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Charlton, for his work
Oh, really?
as a broadcaster. One of the few things people don't know is that he has a twin brother that looks like him, that can do his double work a lot of times.
Yeah.
Chris Berman, our hearts and thoughts and prayers go out to you, your family, the ESPN family as a whole.
Yeah.
Because you made ESPN what it was. You made it a true American jewel for all of us to enjoy every Sunday and even other days of the week, Chris. Congratulations, and our heart goes out to you and our condolences to your family.
Yeah, and one thing that I loved about Berman, not only did he have a diverse cast on this program, he covered a potpourri of sports. He did so many different things. But I remember before Chris Berman came on the scene, there was a good old boy back in the day. I think it was called The Sports Machine. And I think the guy was Al Michaels in The Sports Machine, not the one.
Al Michaels also.
Yeah.
And he ran tape, Charlton.
Yeah.
That's what he would do.
Yeah.
And it would come on Sunday. All of a sudden, he would read from his script. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, he'd roll the tape. And we would see excerpts from the game.
Yeah. And so what Chris Berman did, he took the torch from the original Al Michaels, the first Al Michaels that did The Sports Machine. Ironically, I still have a shirt that says Sports Machine from way back in the day, Big C. And we know there's Al Michaels that says, "Do you believe in miracles?" We know him. He started in the Bay Area, and he's with NBC now. But I just want to say this because of what Berman did for a lot of people. We know that ESPN lost Stuart Scott, who was just a phenomenal on-air presence, and he had a loving family. And these people, when they did their broadcast, they were inimitable. They couldn't be imitated. They had their own style. They had their own vernacular. So I know that the Berman family is very sad tonight. But if they could just take some solace in the fact that he's touched the hearts and the vocal cords of so many people all over the world, because he did his thing, like as you mentioned, at the catch in San Francisco in Candlestick Park, and he was doing it all the way up until, he decided he didn't want to do it anymore. But I just want to say to him, sometimes you don't get a chance to say thank you because I never met the gentleman in my life, but I know several people who've met him. But just a wonderful person, a hardworking professional, and there's a little boy and girl out there somewhere that they're dreaming because they saw Chris Berman doing his thing on ESPN. Big C, your thoughts before we close out? Yeah.
From the first time you see him to any other time that you saw him, he was always open. Charlton looking to share.
Yeah.
And that's something that you don't get from today's guys, somebody who's willing to share.
Yeah.
Because he knew that the world of sports and broadcasting didn't belong to him. That he was just a vessel.
Yeah.
He would only be there for a little while, Charlton,
Yeah.
in the totality of time. But in that time, if he could help someone become better, it helped him become better because it empowered and made the profession stronger.
Yeah.
And that's what you don't get today. In today's people, they're not looking to help make a profession stronger. They're trying to make sure that no one is coming along to potentially take their position. And all of us are going to be replaced, Charlton,
Yeah.
in life and in business.
Yeah.
And especially in broadcasting.
Yeah.
There's none of us that's going to be around forever other than Vince Scully.
Yeah. Vince Scully. That's funny. Yeah.
When you think about the impact that certain people have, and Boomer had an impact.
Yeah.
With everybody that met him, everybody that worked with him.
Yeah.
Not being a selfish individual.
No.
Being thankful for what he had in the industry and what the industry gave him, Charlton.
Yeah.
The industry gave him an opportunity to share with America his love and passion of sports. And he gave graciously to everyone who wanted to listen to him, Charlton.
Well, again, our thoughts go out to him and his family on the loss of his spouse, and I know that things will get better down the road, but I just want to say you've done a great job for the world of sports. BC, as we get ready to close out today's broadcast, and I'm so excited about what's coming up. I'm anticipating, and I hope I don't jinx anything, but I got my debt paid off based on the fight in Las Vegas, so thanks a lot. No thanks to Draymond Green, but I'm telling you, I'm excited about seeing NBA basketball come down to when it really counts. And I saw from Ginobili last night, all of us good old boys that are up, north of 40, not the ones who live in Canada, but the ones north of 40, you have a reason to get up and keep hustling, get up and keep working out, get up and keep staying in shape, and don't call it in just because you have aches and pains. I'm sure Ginobili has every ache and pain. He and that good old boy Vince Carter down the moon. Whenever they're in town, you ever notice moonshine sales are down, Big C? Because they've got all the moonshine bought up for them good old boy barbecues they have. But I just want to thank Ginobili for making the over the 40 gang, even though he's 39, feel a little bit better about playing maybe one more year, Big C. I know we have a lot looking forward to, but what are you looking forward to coming up this week, Big C? Your thoughts? Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's really special. You got Boston playing tonight. It's 2-2.
Yeah.
They're going back to TD Garden, and the home team has won all 4 games.
Yeah.
In the series, Charlton. So that's very imperative. But looking at San Antonio, can they keep the wave going? Can they handle this next game against Houston and eliminate Houston to get themselves just a little bit of rest? Because whoever has to run this gauntlet against Golden State, Charlton,
Yeah.
is going to have their hands full. And Golden State right now seems like a team of destiny, Charlton.
Yeah, well, that's hopefully that's the case because I love being able to go to the games, especially the Oracle Coliseum. It won't be there in 2 more seasons. They're going to be moving over across the East Bay to the West Bay, actually called the Peninsula in San Francisco. But so many things happening in the world of sports, Big C. I love the way you bring the knowledge and the history the way nobody else can. And as we always tell you, every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide on the iHeartRadio network, follow Big C Sports. And we bring you sports, real talk. And I always want to say, no matter what program we're doing, there's never any excuse for domestic violence. No woman should ever worry about being grabbed by the crotch or some good old boy taking advantage of you. If you see that happening, just call 911 and don't have her go through that garbage all on her own. And as we say on every program with Big C Sports, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.